Okay. I'm going to just take you quickly through a presentation of odoo, what it is. Then we will take a few minutes to look at some of the general things that you need to know in regards to using odoo. All right.
Thank you.
So odoo is Telco's enterprise resource planning system. All right. You've heard about ERPs before?
Yeah.
All right. So odoo is our ERP that we're using. All right. So maybe just to make sure that there's a firm understanding there, you obviously by now hopefully should know about Telco and what it is that we do. An introduction to odoo. Odoo is a company from Belgium. Maybe when you're not talking, maybe just mute your mic so that we're not catching the background noise. So odoo is a company from Belgium, and it started in the early 90s, in the mid 90s, mid to late 90s. And their main thing at odoo, what they were trying to do is they were looking at how do you make ERP available to every organization, including the one-man sole proprietor. If you know about ERPs, traditionally ERPs have been thought or have been for the big multinational companies, governments, and other entities like that. So odoo came in and wanted to disrupt this market. So they wanted an ERP that fits small and large companies alike, right? So that even the sole proprietor, the one-man band, can also get the benefits of using an ERP. All right, so up to date, they've got well over 5,000 employees, more than 1,250 partners, more than 3.7 million users. Why ERP? All right, so in a traditional business, right, you see that in a traditional business, you've got what we term silos, all right? So for example, you'll have your manufacturing sitting there, and in the manufacturing, they've probably got their own processes, their procedures, and even an electronic or digital system that they use for managing their manufacturing processes. You'll have an IT department, which is more or less the same. You will have another company or subsidiaries or branches. You'll have a marketing department, you can have HR, you can have accounting. So all those will be departments which are standalone. They have their own processes, their own procedures, their own systems. So what an ERP does is the ERP comes and it bridges across all these silos, across these departments. All right. So now, while the manufacturing, while the accounting, while HR has their processes, their procedures, their systems, the ERP comes and bridges across so that these silos or these departments can talk to each other. So in odoo, we have many, many modules. All right, thousands of modules, in fact. All right, but some of the most basic and core are things like your inventory management, project management, accounting, sales, CRM, customer resource CRM, customer relations management, e-commerce, website builders, all sorts. There are thousands of modules on odoo. There's modules for every instance or every type of business probably, or every type of operation that you can think about. There's a module for that in odoo. Right, so let's quickly now go into the odoo of it. Any questions so far?
No, so far no questions. Sir.
No questions so far. All right, let's go into the odoo of it. All right, you can see my screen?
Yes, I can see it, sir.
All right. Okay, to access odoo, you must go to the web address portal.telco.co.zw. When you go to telco.co.zw, it will either land you probably on this sign-in page where you will be required to put in your email address and or a password. All right. If it doesn't come out on the landing page, it will probably come out on our home page. All right, which gives you a brief information and background about Telco. And then you can go here where it says sign in, and it will bring you back to this page where you put in your email and your password. Confirm you've been given an email and a password for accessing Odoo.
Yes, I have been given.
All right, so when you get there, put that in and you log into the system. All right, so now let's just look at a few basic functional areas. So the first and foremost thing is it will land you on this appraisals module. You can change some of these things, but I'll show you how just now. So the first and most basic thing is you'll see that your name pops up there in the top right-hand corner. Can you see that?
Yes, it's there.
All right, so if you click on that, there are a few things that you can do there. Of particular interest, I want you to look under preferences.
Yes.
In the preferences, you are then able to firstly, and I'd like you to do this today, as soon as we finish here, you're able then to put a picture here on the top right-hand corner. There's a little box there. It will be empty if you have put nothing. You just click the edit, and then you select from your computer or from your phone a suitable picture. It must be shoulder height, and your face. All right. So forgive me, mine is a little crab icon. I need to change that and put my proper picture as well. So that's what your picture must be, shoulder height, almost like a passport size picture. All right. Next thing is your preferred language. Now, obviously, it's going to be English. There's no Shona or Ndebele options yet in Odoo. So your preferred language by default is set as English. The time zone, if your time zone is different, please change it and make sure that it's under Harare, Africa Harare. All right. Your company is telecontract. You probably won't be able to change that. Then email preferences. All right. This is an important one. Whenever we send you a message or an email or a document in Odoo, there's one of two ways that you can receive that document. Number one is you handle by email. In other words, every time a document is edited or something is raised for your attention in an email or a message, it will send something to your email. That's the first option here, which says handle by email. The second option is handle in Odoo. What this will do is that, can you see there's this little chat icon here? Can you see the chat icon?
Chat icon is yes,
Yeah.
or no.
That's above where it says 4 messages.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you say handle in Odoo, whenever that message or document is sent or set, it will send that message or that a notification to here, and you'll see it under there. All right, so those are the two differences about your preference. Do you want it to handle it in emails or handle it in Odoo? All right, is that clear?
Yes, it's clear.
All right. Don't worry about this. For now, your email, obviously here it should have your email address that you've been given, set. All right. And then signature, if you want to put a signature at the bottom of any of your messages that you will send out of Odoo, you can come and configure your signature here. So these will be for both internal and external.
All right, sir.
All right, so these are your preferences, okay? So I expect as soon as you're done here, you're going to go and update your profile picture, all right? If you want to change your password to log into Odoo, you can also do it from these preferences. There's a change password here. All right, clear?
All right, clear. Thank you, sir.
All right. After preferences, there's other things like documentation. All right. So documentation will send you to the Odoo web page. If there are certain things you want to learn or find out about, if you click on documentation, it will give you, there's an extensive information library about different modules and functions in Odoo. All right. So for example, you are in stock stores purchasing and inventory. So if I go there and type inventory, purchasing, all right, let's take purchasing there, right? It'll give you an extensive library about how or the different things within the purchasing module. All right. So let's go back. Okay, you didn't see that part about documentation. Sorry, it opened it in another window. So it opens another window where you can see documents about Odoo. Same with support, will open again another window where you can get Odoo related support. All right. Okay. So now let's look at the modules. So you see there's these 9 buttons here, these 9 dots here. If you click on those 9 dots, it opens for you a menu which will show you all the modules that are available to you in Odoo. All right. You saw that?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I
So
saw
that
that.
will open all the modules that are available to you in Odoo. All right. And then under there, you can then open and navigate to the different modules or menu items. Okay. So for example, you are in inventory. So if you can get to inventory from there, if I'm using the orientations and training module under Telco Academy, you can get to it from there, and so forth and so forth. All right. Maybe just one other area that maybe is important and makes it easy for you to use Odoo. There is a function that is called breadcrumbing. All right. So as you open Odoo, right, you'll see that I've opened the contact, right? So I went to the module contact. Yes, Ray? You're saying something?
Breaking when you were saying, yes. From where you started to say there's something important, my network was breaking, sorry.
All right. So I was saying there's a function called breadcrumbing. So I'm going to go to contacts and I'm going to open one of the contacts. All right. In the contacts there,
Right.
I've now opened contacts and now I've opened a particular contact, 24-hour tire shop. Okay. I'm going to open one of their bills, right? And here shows me all the available bills. I'll open a specific one. Can you see what is happening at the top here? Can you see at the top here? As I enter or open the different documents, it leaves a trail of where I've started and come from. So from context to 24-hour tire shop to vendor bills to the specific bill. So if I want to go backwards, all I have to do is just click a step back. If I want to go all the way back to context, I click a step back. So this breadcrumbing helps in terms of navigation. It's available in almost every module. All documents that you open as you cascade will do that breadcrumbing. So it makes it easy to navigate. Is that clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear, sir.
All right. Okay, so now, while in contacts, let's talk about this thing called a contact. All right. In Odoo, any customer or supplier or vendor is called a contact. Any employee is called a contact. All right. So all of those we'll find under this module called contacts. The generic term that we use in the system is actually, we call them partners. Partner is more generic because a partner can be a customer, a partner can be a supplier, a partner can be an employee within the organization. All right. So all the contacts or partners, you'll see them through the contacts module. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. So when you create a contact, when you create a partner, there are certain minimum requisite informations that we anticipate or expect you to add or put into the system. All right. So, for example, let's look at this one called ABB Motor Spares. Okay. So, when you create a partner, first and foremostly, you create the name of the partner. And if that partner has got a logo or some emblem, we expect you to attach that emblem there so that we can see ABB Motors and their logo. Clear?
Yes, clear, sir.
After that, we expect that you specify that is this partner a company or an individual? Remember that we said partner is generic. It could be a customer, it could be a supplier, it could be an internal employee, all right? So is this an individual?
Yes.
This contact we're creating, is it for an individual or is it for a company? So you select there. If it is a company, you can also have a relationship where it is a subsidiary of another existing company in the system. And you can then select the other company, the parent company there. All right. Likewise, also, if it's an individual, you can also say this individual, it's a contact for an individual, but that individual belongs to a company. So I give you an example. We will have Rem Simbe, and basically Rem Simbe is an employee at Telecontract, yes? So if we want to then create that relationship, we'll say, right, the individual's name is Rem Simbe, but the company that he works for is Telecontract. So we'll create the relationship there by putting in Telecontract. You see that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, so we're not creating that at the moment. So you put that back as it was. Then next thing, we expect that you put in a full street address for the contact. The street address must have, it's got two parts. So you have the street, 25 Kaguvi Street. Here, this one is missing. It should be Harare CBD. That's the second part. So the suburb or the area where it's located. So ABB Motors is at 25 Kaguvi Street, Harare CBD. Then we have the city. This is the city here, Harare. We have the state or province in our case, which is Harare again. And then we have the country, Zimbabwe. All right. Then this TIN is a tax identification number. So their tax ID or their VAT number would probably go in here in this tax identification number, right? And then tags. Tags are useful tools that we can use to reference a contact or a partner in Odoo. So, for example, I may want to say this one is motor spares or consumables or is a staff member. There are a number of tags that are already set in the system. He's an electrician, he's a solar installer. So there are many tags that we can use. What that helps with is if I'm searching in the system, I can use a particular tag to shortlist all the people who are in that related field tag field. Is that clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
All right. Then if it's a contact, sorry, address type here at the top, do you see address type? Address type, you have several. So is this a contact? Is it an invoice address? Is it a shipping address? Is it an other? Is it a private address? So all these you can specify depending on what this particular contact is, because I may have, for example, CBZ headquarters on Union Kwame Nkrumah Avenue being invoice address. Then I'll have CBZ Angwa, and instead of an invoice address, it will just be a contact address or a shipping address or an other address. All right. So you can specify the address or the contact type. Clear?
Yes, sir, clear.
Right. Then we have job position. So if it's an individual, for example, we talked about Ray. Now, Ray is an employee of Telecontract. So this may have been a contact, just a contact if we had put in Ray there, right? And now we would want a job position, right? So he then would put in that he's the purchasing stocks and stores manager officer, all right? So we'll then specify that there. We put in a telephone number. Telephone is a landline, mobile number, email address, a web page, and a title. So is here Mr., Mrs., Doctor, whatever his title is, and then his language. By default, all will be English. All right. So we put in all this information regarding the contact that we are creating or the partner that we are creating. Is that clear?
Yes, it's clear, sir.
Right. So as a bare minimum, let me just run through this first section again. The bare minimum, there must be a name of the contact. We must specify if it's an individual or a company. We must put a logo, right? We must have a full street address. We must have at least a mobile number, all right? At least a mobile number. And we must have an email. If we don't have an email, at least the mobile number on the contact information side is as a bare minimum, all right? But on this other side, all the information must be filled: street address, city, and then the name and the logo, all right? Okay, so this all falls under our general contact information. The next thing is internal notes. Internal notes is where we can put specific information about this supplier. This is helpful and useful. For example, you are a new person in the organization. You don't know much about this supplier. So if they've got history or issues or any recommendations, they can be specified here in internal notes for your information. So you don't necessarily have to look around and start asking. You can just find the information here. Understood?
Yes, I understood.
Right. Sales and purchases. Right. Now, remember we said that a contact or a partner in odoo can be a customer, can be a supplier, can be an internal employee, or can be both. Now, under sales and purchases is where we'll specify that. So if this contact or this partner is someone who supplies us with equipment or materials or services, we will specify it here by clicking is a vendor. If they are a customer, in other words, we supply them service, right? We'll click is a customer. Or they can be both a vendor and a customer. All right, is that clear? There are other things, for example.
I don't know what is happening.
All right. The other things, for example, if they are a supplier, you can specify their supplier currency. So maybe some suppliers who are outside the country and we don't do ZWL, we can specify the currency or leave it blank. It's okay. All right. There's any specific salesperson within that organization. If they are our customer, we can specify if they have a specific salesperson who deals with them. We can specify if there's a particular delivery method we use when supplying them, all right? And we can also specify a sales price list, okay? If it's a sales, they are our customer, we can specify a particular price list. Is it ZWL? Is it US dollar? What is it? All right? We have an internal reference, so every contact or partner that's created in the system will have this internal reference, all right? The company talks to whose subsidiary they are. You will learn about in the next few days that we have other organizations or companies that fall under that we fall into the same umbrella with. Gave you, which is a property company, Zinandi, which is one of our suppliers in South Africa. All right, so we will talk about that as we proceed. Then you can put in industry-related information. If like ABB is motor spares, right? So if we had a category here, which I see there's none for motor spares, or we can find the most appropriate category for them. Again, this information becomes useful as you're searching and sorting your contacts. All right. Barcode, we could have a specific barcode for this entity, which we don't have at the moment. So all of this falls under sales and purchasing information. Is that clear? All right. So service info, if they are a customer, we have something called service level agreements, gold, platinum, bronze. So for salespeople, when this is a customer, they'll specify what service level agreement that customer falls under. Invoicing, right? On invoicing, the most important thing is our accounting entries, where they will go. So as you create a contact, it is important that you will always specify an account receivable and an account payable. If you don't specify this, the contact will not be able to work. We won't be able to buy or sell them things properly in the system. So you must always select this. And it's simple. There's just trade data on account receivable and account payable on account payable account on account payable. All right. So 7300 stroke 010, 77,000 stroke 000. Those are the two that must be set there. All right. If they are a customer, a billing manager must be specified in terms of internally, who is their billing manager. All right. Fiscal positions, we haven't configured anything there. Don't worry about it. Payment terms, is it immediate payment, 15 days? So both from a supplier or a customer relation perspective, do we extend or offer any payment terms to this particular partner? All right. So that's on the sales side. Same thing on the purchasing side. All right. So those are the basic settings that go under invoicing. All right, partner assignation, you don't have to worry about that at the moment. All right, so are we clear there? All right, so once we get through that, then you'll see that on each partner or each contact, you then save, and then there's an approval process that must be done by a relevant manager to allow you to add this partner to be usable in the system. If they are not approved, they will not be able to be used in the system. All right, so they must be approved. Okay, so on every approved partner, then you have this menu at the top, which will show you certain information. If they are a vendor, what have we purchased from them? Where are the vendor bills or the vendor invoices that relate to them? Are there any contracts or analytic accounts related to this partner? All right. Have they made any calls to us? You'll see every call that they make to us through our PBX there. Are there any requests or tickets that are open for this vendor or this supplier or this customer? All right. Right. Just one last thing in regards to the contacts and partners. We've got this thing here that is called a chatter. All right. This chatter you will find in almost every single module in Odoo. All right. It allows you to be able to send a message. Just hold on. Okay, we're talking about the chatter. So the chatter, what it does is it allows us to be able to send messages around this particular document to anybody in Odoo. So send message allows you to actually send an email to the customer or the contact directly, the partner or the contact directly, or you can send a message or an email to any other Odoo contact or any other internal employee. So if you wanted, if there was a particular issue here relating to this customer, you can just say at Washington Magwenzi and then type what the issue is here. All right, and send. Please be careful, especially on customer related documents. You have to either tick or untick. If you do not want this message to go to the customer, untick this box here. All right. The safer way, if you want it to be just an internal, so this send message option, usually we send when we want the customer to be aware. All right. If you don't want it to go to the customer, the better option is to log a note. So if you log a note, it does not give an option. It won't send this to the customer automatically. You now just say at Washington Magwenzi, and then you type your message, and he'll see whatever it is that you type as you log the note. All right. So we've got send message, which we are saying let's preferably use this when we want the customer to, when we want to send the information or the request to the customer's email address. But if it's for internal use, log a note and then just say at the name of the person you want their attention, and then you write your message. All right. We've also got something called scheduled activities. To schedule an activity, if you want someone to action something on a document, an invoice, a quotation, an inventory picking, any of those, you can just come and schedule a note, put what the activity is to do, put a little brief summary there, specify who it's assigned to, specify the due date, and then put in your detail here of what you're expecting and schedule that. All right. This you can do for anybody, for any task that you need attended to. All right. And then you can see a list of activities that relate to that particular to the particular document. All right. Is this clear? The chatter. This is called the chatter function. These three.
All right. Thanks. Clear.
Sending message, log note, schedule activity. All right. So, for example, you created a requisition the other day. So when you want to send the requisition for a manager's attention to approve it, you can use this chatter function to get them to send them a message so that they action or validate or approve a requisition. All right. Last thing is the sharing button. All right. The sharing button is slightly different to the chatter. The sharing button, what it does is we've got a messenger in odoo. All right, so maybe let's start with the messenger before sharing. So you see this, and this is where I talked about that any documents that are sent to you will appear here. All right. As they appear here, this is a chatter function, but also your emails that, or for documents that are sent, you'll see them here. The chatter function allows you to have an instant chat with somebody. All right. So I can come there, open that, create a new chat, and I can start chatting to you as we've been doing already. All right. So picking up on that, this share button allows you to share this document to any one of your contacts, either through a message, which is the first option here, chat, through an email, or through copying a link. You can copy a link to this particular document, which will be the web address link. All right. So if you share via message, you can then specify, I want to send this document to Ray. All right. And the document should appear under your contact there. All right. So there you see now in your odoo, you will have access to this document because I've shared it with you. All right. Is that clear?
Yes, it's clear. I saw the document.
All right. Okay. So the very last thing that we'll go through on this basic introduction to odoo is products. All right. Products in odoo can be a service, can be physical stock, stores, inventory. All right, can be your fuels. So anything in odoo that we buy or sell is called a product. Okay, so I can buy services from an electrician, so it's a non-tangible product. I can buy little clips from electro sales, that is a product. All right, I can sell my broadband service to customers, that is a product as well. All right, so whenever we talk about products in odoo, it's anything we buy or sell to customers. All right, clear?
Yes, it's clear, sir.
All right. So in odoo, as we've mentioned, we've got multiple modules that are going to be used across multiple departments. All right. So for example, we've got sales, right? And in sales, they are going to be selling our products, the company's products, to customers, right? Products, service, whether they are services or tangible products. Okay. And in that sales there, you will see an icon that talks about products. All right. And when we open products from a sales menu, you'll see there's a filter. There's this thing called filters here. All right. So whenever you search for something, there are filters. Some of the filters come by default in modules. All right. So can you see here, there's a filter that says can be sold. All right. I can open or close this filter as I need. And it's going to show products that can be sold only. All right. Same, I can go to inventory, let's go to purchases, not inventory. All right. So purchases, in purchases again, I can come and I'll see here. I'll see the products. It's the exact same menu or the exact same thing that we're seeing, except for here, there's now a filter that says can be purchased. Remember, the first filter was can be sold. Now there's a filter that says can be purchased. You see that?
Yes, I saw that.
But the menu or the products are exactly the same. I can come to your other side, which is inventory. All right. And in inventory, again, I'll have a products menu. It's the exact same product menu. Say for this time, it says it's a product versus it's a service. All right. So only the tangible items. All right. You see that?
Yes, I saw that.
So anytime, anywhere in Odoo, we start talking about products, it's the same set of things. Products are things we buy or sell. Products can be tangible and non-tangibles. All right. Okay, so let's look at a particular product in the system and how it's configured. All right. Let's take this Canon toner. All right. So when you are creating a product similar to what we just went through with the contact, the first thing you will specify is the product name. All right. Please make your product name very distinct and descriptive. All right. So here we have a Canon toner 728 black. Okay. And to complement that, we then put the image of that particular product. All right. You see that?
Yes, I saw that, sir.
All right. Then the next thing we'll have is, can this product be sold or can it be purchased? All right. Now, this again, remember, we looked at the sales module, and then we looked at the purchasing module. They've got filters, and this is what helps us to filter. Do we sell this product to other people? If we sell it to other people, then it must be ticked. Do we buy this product, or maybe something we manufacture internally? Then this must be ticked. Okay. The third one here is can be expensed. All right. So we'll have another session where we'll talk about expense management. But basically, products that can be expensed are things that you and I within the company will use as staff. All right. So there are certain products like airtime. Airtime, you can actually request every month to get some. If you have an airtime allowance, you can request that, and it is an expensable product. So it's in the system as a product, and it can be expensed. We may buy it, and then we may expense it to a particular employee or staff member within the organization. All right, clear?
Yes, clear, sir.
Last one is this thing where it says contract or warranty. All right. So this contract or warranty is for two types of products. Okay, it's for products that, firstly, it's for products that we sell to customers. All right. The products we sell, for example, you know, Telco is in the business of broadband internet. All right. So because we're in the broadband internet business, we have contracts with customers. A contract will be saying basically that when you subscribe for this service, you are in a 12-month contract. So if that's the type of product we are talking about, this will be ticked that it is a contract. All right, is that clear?
Yes, it's clear, sir.
The other end of contract is a warranty. So you know by now that Telco, we also sell things like batteries and solar geysers and inverters, all right? Those products, while they are not in a contract, but they do have a warranty, all right? So in other words, if that product breaks down within a certain set time frame, there's a warranty that will apply on that product. So some of your solar products, your inverters, your batteries, will have a warranty. So this would be ticked for that type of product as well. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
All right, then the next thing that we have there. So for example, this toner cartridge, I do not think we sell toner cartridges. This was not set correctly. So our removed can be sold. It can be purchased. We don't expense it, and it's not a contract or warranty product, okay? The next thing we have here is product type, right? So remember I said product is any non-tangible or tangible or non-tangible, right? So we have things that we term as consumables, we have services, and we have stock products, all right? So services, obviously the non-tangibles that we're talking about. So whether it's telco going to fix internet for someone at their house, that's a service. There's no physical inventory that is required there or no physical product. It's a service we provide. Or for example, we have an auto electrician who's going to come and check something on one of the cars. That is a service, all right? There's no physical, tangible materials that are used in that process or that are sold or bought in that process. All right, so those become services. All right, the other end is consumables and stockables. Consumables and stockables are physical, they are tangible. All right, we then differentiate between a consumable and a stockable product by saying a stockable product is something that when we come to our month end and we're about to do a stock take, it's one of the items that we intend to count. All right. A stockable product also, whenever we purchase it, it goes into an inventory account so that we can have an inventory valuation and we count that we have X value because we've got 10 of this thing. All right. Those are stockable products. All right. Is that clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Consumables, on the other hand, consumables, usually it means when we get to month end and we're doing a stock take, we do not count how many of these things we have, all right? Secondly, whenever we are purchasing them, we immediately at point of purchase will expense them, all right? So we buy this thing and immediately at the point we buy it, we just send it to an expense account on the accounting side. We send it to an expense location, expense ledger, right? We don't count it in our stock. All right, is that clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear, sir.
All right. So maybe just for your information, this one was set as a consumable. Did you see that? And
yes, I saw that, sir.
And watch this top menu here as I change it to a stockable. When I change this thing to a stockable, can you see it added a few menus here on hand? Right? On hand now means we're counting how many of these things do we have. All right, can you see that?
Yes.
All right. Okay, very important. Now, I'll tell you that for most of the things that we are buying at Telco, even including groceries, pens, pencils, and pins, we want to set them for now as stockable products. All right? In other words, whenever that thing is purchased, it goes into inventory. And whenever we do a stock take at the end of the month, we are counting how many of those things we have. All right, is that clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
So as you configure or add new products in the system, by default, as long as it's tangible, it's physical, make it a stockable product. If in doubt or you have questions, please ask me.
All right, sir.
All right, so I've changed this one. Then we've got what is called a category. All right, so all products that we buy or sell must fall into a category. What the category helps us with is that it will set certain parameters and rules around that product, okay? It can set logistic rules, all right, around how we buy or sell or the route by which we buy or sell that product, all right? It will set certain things like, do we allow negative stock value for that product, all right? But by default, really, there's nothing that we should allow negative stock. In other words, we start deducting from our inventory when that thing is not there. So we go into minus, all right? So which is not a desirable effect. So really nothing should ever go into negative stock. All right, we specify the costing or the valuation method. All right, we'll talk about these in another training. All right, and we also specify the income and expense account related to that product. So every time we sell this product, where do those proceeds go on the accounting ledger? Every time we buy this product, where is it expensed to? And if it's a stockable product, we will specify also the inventory location where it will go and the stock journal that's used at stock take time or for stock valuation. All right. Clear on the category?
Yes, sir.
So every product must be in a category. There's no product that must be outside of a category. All right. When we set some of the parameters in the category, it will also determine how we get a cost price for this product. So if you're looking here, as we looked in here, the costing method is standard pricing. Standard pricing means we will manually come and update this price from time to time. All right. The more desirable one, I don't know why this one is on standard, is first in, first out. What first in, first out does is it will look at the purchases, the last purchase price we did for this product. All right. So you see there was a purchase at some point of 2,406. All right. And it will use that as the cost price. Okay. So tomorrow, if we buy the same product, maybe it's now 4,000 and something. Basically, the system will take that value that is specified from the purchase here and use that as the new cost price for that product. All right. So first in, first out basically means that it's going to use the last purchase price to determine the value. But again, as I said, there's another training around that, so don't worry about that too much. If it's a product that we sell, we must specify what the selling price is. All right. Also, another very important one is that the unit of measure. As you create a product, you must specify the correct unit of measure. By default, it's set to units, but you know we've also got liquids that we buy, right? Which will be in liters. We've got things that we buy which are based on weight, kgs. We've got bandwidth products that are based on megabits per second and so forth and so forth. So whatever product you're dealing with, make sure that you set the correct unit of measure for that product. Is that clear?
Yes, it's clear, sir.
All right. Variance. All right, let me pick a product that's got variance so that you can understand this. Right, so we've got safety shoes. All right. So variants basically are differences about that product. So for example, a safety shoe, we could create a product called safety shoe size 7, right? But then it means once I do that, means I need to have then another product called safety shoe size 8, safety shoe size 9, safety shoe size 10, safety shoe size 11. So I end up having to have 5 different products. You see that? So
yes, I saw that.
Instead of doing that, rather we create one product that's called safety shoe. All right. And then in that product, I create a variant called size. And that variant now allows me then to say, right, I've got a product, it's called safety shoe, but I have it in different sizes. I have it in size 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So that when I purchase, when I do my purchasing around this product, I can specify that I want size 7, 20 pairs. I want size 8, 30 pairs. I want size 9, 40 pairs, and so forth and so forth. Likewise, when I'm looking at my stock account for safety shoes, I can see right now that in size 7, I've got 20 pairs. In size 8, I've got 92 pairs. In size 9, I've got 61 pairs, and so forth. All right. So that's what a variant is. So another example would be like if we're selling potato chips, all right? Potato chips have multiple flavors. So I can have a small 35-gram packet, but that 35-gram packet, I can have cheese flavor, I can have salted, I can have salt and vinegar, I can have tomato flavor, right? Those are 4 different flavors. But what I'll create here is just one product called potato chips 35 grams. And then the variants would be those different flavors. All right, is variance clear? Do you get the concept of variance?
Yes, I got the concept of differentiating.
All right, okay, and then we'll have sales here. If it's a product that we sell, all right, you'll be able to see any sales that we've made around that product. What is the price? Purchases, we'll see the locations from where we've purchased this product before. So you can see right now we've got 2 vendors that we buy safety shoes from, Electro Sales and Zinandi in South Africa. All right, and it will show you the last purchase price for these. Again, remember on our costing, the product costing is going to use the variant prices, right, to come up with the costing. All right, the last purchase price to come up with the costing, right? Then we've got inventory. All right, inventory is important because it helps us, or it allows us to specify certain things around that product. All right, it allows us to specify the route. How do we get more of this product in stock? Do we buy it? Do we manufacture it? All right, so we can specify the route by which we get new stock into the system. Do we buy it? Do we manufacture it? Traceability. All right, traceability talks to, let me show you here. Is this product traced? Do we track it once we have it? Does it have a unique identifier, for example, a serial number or a lot number? All right, so certain products, especially of the electronic type, should have a unique serial number. Each unit will have its own serial number. All right, some items is not per unit, it's per lot. So we'll buy 20 of a particular product, and in those 20, they are 1 lot number. Okay, traceability is important, especially like, for example, if this was a supermarket and we're selling perishable goods or goods that expire, or foodstuffs. If the manufacturer does a recall and says, there was contamination in this particular batch, traceability helps you to be able to trace who you sold that down to, where you bought it from, and also who you sold it to. All right, is that clear?
Yes, it's clear, say, on traceable.
All right. If this product, for example, is manufactured, we can have a lead time. In other words, how many days does it take us for us to be able to manufacture this thing? All right. So these are some of the basics in inventory. There's other detailed items like row number. So in terms of the location inside our stock or our warehouse, we can have row number X and X, but we're not using that function at the moment.
Okay, sir.
Invoicing, right? So remember, invoicing, we're talking about that whenever we buy or sell this thing, where does the money come to? So income account, where does the expense go to? All right, expense account, right? And remember, we said instead of specifying this on every single product, what we generally do is that we'll have a category. So this product is in a category called protective equipment, clothing, and uniforms. And in that category, we'll specify the income and expense account for this product. So usually under invoicing, you don't have to put anything. Is that clear? As long as you've put that product into a category.
Yeah, it's clear, sir.
All right, notes. Notes, there are several types of notes. Notes are usually of the descriptive type. You can, when you create a product, you must put some level of description around what it is. All right, I see, unfortunately, people did not put anything on the safety shoe. And those notes or that description, can be several types. An internal one, all right, for internally us as ourselves as an organization, as we see that product. A customer one, a description the customer will see on their quotations or invoices, right? A vendor one that your supplier will see when you send them a purchase order, all right? A GRV one that will be seen when you are receiving goods, one that you'll see when you're on your D note, on your delivery order, one you'll see if you do it as an internal transfer, all right? Any warnings when you're selling this product, you can specify any warnings, right? Like, for example, there's no refund on this product or something like that. Okay, so those are your notes. And then you can also have other images. Other images are particularly important where we're using the e-commerce module. All right. So if we're selling these products on the web page or through our e-commerce web page, we may need more than just the one image that we've put here. All right. Is that clear?
Yes, it's clear.
All right. So once you've done that, you save your product and you get it approved so that it becomes available to use in the system. Once you have saved it, you'll see your variants, you'll see the stock on hand, you'll see forecast, you'll see product moves. So all these menu buttons become usable for you to be able to see or understand the purchases, the sales, the movement of that product in the system. All right, so any questions there in regards to product creation?
So far, no questions, sir.
All right, so I think these are the most basic elements of odoo that we've just covered here. We've covered your profile, how you can edit or add your profile picture there. We've talked about contact creation, all right? We've talked about products, right? We've talked about breadcrumbing, right? So remember the breadcrumbing, as we open a product and move through the different menus, we will create a breadcrumb and we can always go back a step. We've talked about the chatter that you find at the bottom of almost every document in odoo. All right. Any specific questions around those areas that we've covered?
No questions, sir.
All right, great stuff. Okay, so can you please go and update your profile? All right, and then we will pick up the next session in regards to using odoo specifically to the inventory, stocks, and stores for you.
All right, let me do that then.
All right, thank you very much, Ray.
Thank you, sir, for your time and the effort and the information.
No problem.
Welcome.